Hello everyone, welcome to Chancho's economics class. Today we are going to see the topic elasticity of demand. So before entering into the topic, I've posted a few videos on demand and different concepts of demand. So those who have not watched the videos, kindly watch it. I hope it will be helpful for you. And those are new to this channel, kindly support the channel by subscribing it. So today we are going to see the topic elasticity of demand and the price elasticity of demand. Now, elasticity of demand. So the law of demand explains the direction of change in demand and the elasticity of demand explains the quantum of changes in demand. So here the law of demand, it explains the direction of changes in demand. Already we have seen in the previous video regarding the law of demand, and in that it explains the direction of change in demand, that is if price increases demand decreases. So this direction it explains, okay. But in the concept of elasticity of demand, it explains the quantum of changes in demand, that is how much changes it has taken place in demand, okay. So this is said to be the elasticity of demand, okay. See, in the concept of law of demand, only direction will be explained, okay, whether price goes high or the demand comes down, so the direction alone will be explained. But in the case of elasticity, when it is increasing, when the price is increasing, how much it increases, whether 5 percentage or a 10 percentage, and when the demand decreasing, how much it decreases. So this will be explained in detail with the help of this elasticity of demand, okay. Definition. So Alfred Marshall has given the elasticity of demand definition, and he says that the elasticity of demand in a market is great or small according to the amount demanded increases much or little for a given fall in price and diminishes much or a little for given rise in price. So he says that based on the changes in price, that is if there is a fall in price, the amount demanded may be, it may be very small changes in demand or a very big changes in demand, and at the same time for a given rise in price, the amount demanded changes, it can be a small changes or a very big change. That only as explained in this definition, okay. I'll read it out again. The elasticity of demand in a market is great or small according to the amount demanded increases much or little for a given fall in price and diminishes much or a little for given rise in price, okay. Now we have three types of elasticity of demand: price elasticity of demand, income elasticity of demand, and cross elasticity of demand. So in this video, we'll be explaining about price elasticity of demand in detail. Price elasticity of demand. So here it explains the relationship between the price and the quantity demanded. So here a price elasticity of demand shows a percentage change in quantity demanded to a percentage change in price. So this price elasticity of demand equals to proportionate change in quantity demanded divided by proportionate change in price. So this price elasticity explains the changes which happens between the price and the quantity demanded. We have 5 cases for price elasticity of demand: perfectly elastic demand, perfectly inelastic demand, unitary elastic demand, relatively elastic demand, relatively inelastic demand. So we'll be explaining each cases in detail. First one, perfectly elastic demand. So here When a small change or no change in price leads to an infinitely large changes in demand, it is called perfectly elastic demand. That is, a very small change in price or a no change in price brings a large changes in demand. You tell it as an perfectly elastic demand. See, elastic demand. Elastic means you have more changes. So here it is perfectly elastic. That is, when there is no change in price, also there will be a large changes in the quantity demanded, and this case we tell it as a perfectly elastic demand. Now we'll see with the help of the graph. So the y-axis the price is measured and the x-axis the quantity demanded is measured. And you can see here at OP price the quantity, see the OP price is constant. So the price remains the same throughout. So here we say that no changes in price. Okay, but the quantity demanded is infinite in nature, that is it is immeasurable. We cannot measure how much changes will take place in demand. Okay, there can be a small changes or there can be a big changes in demand. So here we say that when the price is at OP, the quantity demanded is infinite in nature. Okay, so here you tell it as elasticity of demand is infinite. Okay, so that only has been given below. It shows that at OP price any amount of commodity is demanded, and if price increases the consumer will not purchase the commodity. Hence you tell it as elasticity of demand is infinite. Okay, the consumers are not ready to purchase any commodity above the price P. So at price P, they are ready to purchase any level of commodity. So this is explained in perfectly elastic demand. So elasticity of demand is infinite. Perfectly inelastic demand. So large changes in price fails to bring a changes in quantity demanded. That is, the price changes but the quantity demanded remains the same. So we know that inelastic demand in the sense that no changes in demand. So here it explains that if the price changes also the demand remains the same. As the demand remains same, you tell it as equal to 0. Okay, this we explain with the help of the graph. So the y-axis the price is measured and the quantity demanded is measured in the x-axis. So when the price is at OP, the quantity demanded is OD. And when the price increases from OP to OP1, the quantity demanded is again at OD. So here you can see that if the price increases also, the demand remains the same. Okay. So here, for example, this is usually in the case of the necessary commodities. We can have the example as a medicine. So in the case of medicine, that is, if a person has to take 30 tablets per month, if the price of the tablet increases also, he will consume or he will demand the same 30 tablets because it is a necessary commodity for him. So if the price increases also, the demand remains the same. Okay, so this only has been explained in this graph. So when the price increases from OP to OP1, the quantity demanded remains the same at OD. So here you can see that the demand curve is a vertical straight line. DD is the demand curve which is parallel to y-axis. And in this case of perfectly inelastic demand, the elasticity of demand is equal to 0. Okay. Unit elastic demand. Okay. So here the change in quantity demanded is exactly equal to changes in price. That is, if there is a small change in price, there is a small change in demand also. Okay. If there is a big change in price, there is a big change in demand also. So here when both are equal, you tell it as elasticity of demand equals to 1. Okay, now we'll see with the help of the graph. So in the y-axis the price is measured and in the x-axis the quantity demanded is measured. Okay, and you can see that at OP price the quantity demanded is OQ, and at OP1 price, if the price decreases, the quantity demanded increases to OQ1. Okay, so here you can see that if the price is increasing by 20%, the demand is decreasing by 20%. So this is in the case of the normal commodities. Okay, in the case of normal commodities, when the price is increasing by 20%, the demand will decrease by 20%. And if the price is decreasing by 20%, the demand will increase by 20%. So you will have equal changes between the price and the quantity demanded. As you have equal changes, you tell it as elasticity of demand is equal to 1. Okay, and in this case you can see the demand curve is DD. And when price falls from OP to OP1, the quantity demanded increases from OQ to OQ1. Thus, a change in price has resulted in an equal change in quantity demanded. Okay? Yeah. Relatively elastic demand. So here, a small change in price leads to a big changes in the quantity demanded. Okay, you can see that a small changes in price brings a very big changes in the quantity demanded. As you have more changes in quantity demanded, you tell it as relatively elastic demand. Okay, or you tell it as elasticity of demand greater than 1. Okay, now we'll see with the help of the graph. So here you can see that on the y axis the price is measured, and in the x axis the quantity demanded is measured. Okay, so when the price is OP, the quantity demanded is OQ, and when the price is decreasing from OP to OP1, the quantity demanded increases from OQ to OQ1. Okay, so here you can see that when the price falls a little, the quantity demanded increases more. Okay, so it has been given as when the price is decreasing by 5%, the quantity demanded is increasing by 25%. Okay, so here it says that a small changes in price brings a big changes in the quantity demanded. Okay, so this usually it happens for the commodities which is used for many purposes. So for those commodities, if the price is decreasing a little, the consumers they demand more, and then they use this commodity for different purposes. Okay, so in such cases, if the price falls a little, the demand increases more. So here, as the demand is increasing, you tell it as elasticity of demand is greater than 1. And here you can see that the demand curve is flatter. Okay, the DD is the demand curve which is flatter. Okay. Now, relatively inelastic demand. So here, a large change in price leads to a smaller changes in quantity demanded. That is, when you have a big changes in price, there is a small changes in the quantity demanded. And as you have small changes in quantity demanded, you tell that elasticity of demand is less than 1. And here DD is the demand curve, and which is steeper. Now we'll see with the help of the graph. So here the y-axis it measures the price, and the x-axis the quantity demanded, and DD is the demand curve. So when the price is OP, the quantity demanded is OQ, and when the price decreases to OP1, the quantity demanded increases to OQ1. Okay, so here you can see that the price is falling to 25 percentage. The price falls around 25 percentage, but the quantity demanded is increased only by 10 percentage. So this is usually in the case of the perishable commodities. If the price of the perishable commodity falls greater also, the quantity demanded will be increased only little, because even the consumers, those who purchase these perishable commodities, even they cannot store it for a longer period of time. So they cannot demand more. They can just increase the demand a little, but they cannot demand more. So that's why here, when there is a large changes in price, there is a small changes in the quantity demanded. So as you have small changes in quantity demanded, you tell elasticity of demand is less than 1, and the demand curve DD is steeper. Okay. So these are the 5 cases of elasticity of demand under the price elasticity. 5 cases under price elasticity of demand. Okay. I hope you all could have understood the concept elasticity of demand. So in this video we have discussed what is elasticity of demand, the definition, and coming to the types, we have actually 3 types of elasticity of demand, but in this video we have seen only the first one, that is price elasticity of demand. In the upcoming videos we will be discussing on the income elasticity of demand as well as the cross elasticity of demand. Okay, I hope you could have understood the concept price elasticity of demand. If you have any doubts, you can post a message in the comment box. Kindly post the message in the comment box, as well as click on the like button, share the video, as well as subscribe the channel. Thank you all.